I'm wondering, like, if you're going to fight him, where would you fight him at, number one? And number two, are you saying that from 140 to 147, you're willing to fluctuate and move back and forth as opposed to just moving up and weight or whatever? What's your intent?
Well, my intent, look at my strength and conditioning coach, he said that he believes that I can make 140 comfortably. I trust, the people, my team around me. If their opportunity presents itself, I would love to fight Shakur Stevenson.
Ryan Garcia stirred up major tension during Stephen A. Smith's live broadcast, boldly saying he'd have no problem facing Shakur Stevenson at 140 pounds. If Stevenson is willing to stop avoiding action and finally accept the challenge.
Go. I want that. If the opportunity presents itself, I just want boxing to be at the top. I want to make these fights happen, and I know I could beat these.
He made it clear that he believes he's the one controlling the division now, with enough influence and star power to make the biggest matchups happen. Garcia also explained why he sees himself as boxing's biggest draw and a major force in the sport today.
And, I've always had the following. I've always had, all the opportunities you can have as a superstar. Now that I have this piece that I kind of was missing, of course, I would love to keep fighting and kind of carry boxing. I actually lead this generation of young fighters of popularity and now of being a world champion. So I have all the opportunities to become the face of boxing, but now I just have to prove it with my dedication and all my fights that are going to be lined up. I have to do it now. I would love to defend my title, and if that happens, let's do that too.
Shakur Stevenson quickly responded with a cold warning of his own, making it clear that this back and forth wasn't just talk anymore. His message painted the potential clash with Ryan Garcia as a dangerous showdown that could completely change Garcia's future inside the ring.
Get murdered. He's going to get beat up. So since y'all felt that way, then let's make the fight happen. Let me show y'all why.
Even before the intense call-out happened on live TV, the rivalry had already reached another level. During a fiery face-to-face exchange, both fighters lost their composure, throwing harsh insults at each other while exchanging aggressive threats that made the tension impossible to ignore.
Shakur beating him, though.
Yo,
I do have you beating him.
I will whoop your ass.
I'll pop that. Yeah, right back in that mouth. I'll have you looking like a saber gap tooth tiger. I'll do you dirty, bro. No lie, bro.
You suck.
You lost oh my, here we go.
I don't care.
Not the same fighter. Hey, not the same fighter. Not the same. Hey, when I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say? When I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say?
I was there.
Hey, no, when I put a beat on you. I'm talking about you. You got no power. You got no power.
And you lost. And you still scared him to this day.
Oh, no. Bro, I'm gonna knock that gap right back in your mouth. I'm gonna knock that gap into your mouth again. Hey, you fixed the team. You fixed the team. But I'm gonna knock that right back in.
Ryan Garcia showed no signs of backing down, sending a strong message that he's no longer holding anything back. He warned that his aggressive mentality has returned, and he's fully prepared to bring serious intensity and destruction once he steps back into the ring.
Give them what they want. They want a bad dude, I'll give you a bad dude. I'm a killer. I have the killer instinct, so it's kind of you lose the killer instinct in you.
You do want to hurt this person.
Yeah, of course.
Shakur Stevenson confidently praised his own talent, claiming his skill set is on a completely different level from everyone else in the sport. He explained that his ability to adjust against any opponent is what makes him one of the most dangerous and well-rounded fighters in boxing right now.
Honestly, for me personally, I feel like I'm like the best fighter in boxing. And I don't mean this in no disrespectful way, because I got a lot of fighters in boxing that I still watch to this day that I like. And I'm like, okay, I'm still this. I'm Usyk. I love Usyk. I love Bivol. I love them Eastern European styles. But for me, I just feel like I'm a fighter that could do it all. I can do it all. Whatever needs to be done to get the job done, I can do that. So some nights you might see I might outbox people. Then some nights I might stand there and beat a guy up and beat them at their own game. So I think for me, I'm the most complete fighter in boxing.
Stevenson shifted the pressure back onto Ryan Garcia, openly accepting the challenge and urging him to prove he's serious. Since Garcia was the one who pushed for the fight at that weight, Stevenson made it clear that he now expects him to finalize the deal and sign the contract instead of delaying things any further.
Make 40 again?
He said he could. He the one who came out and said, like, let's fight at 140. He said that. So if he said that, it's like, okay, you can make the weight, then let's...
Some of the biggest names in sports media have also become locked in on the growing rivalry because of how dangerous and unpredictable the stylistic matchup looks. Joe Rogan admitted the fight strongly interests him, but he also cautioned that Ryan Garcia could be facing an entirely different level of opponent once he gets in the ring with Shakur Stevenson.
Art. That was art. That's boxing at the highest level. And I'm fascinated because now they're talking about him and Ryan Garcia. I am fascinated to watch that fight because Shakur's a different animal. Ryan looked amazing in that fight. I mean, he looked amazing. I mean, he looked so fast, and it was a beautiful fight to watch. But that's an interesting fight. I like that fight. Shakur and him, I like that fight a lot. Because Shakur's just a different animal. You're dealing with a whole different kind of skill.
Adding even more attention to the rivalry, Terrence Crawford gave his own technical view on how the matchup could play out once both fighters meet in the ring. Crawford predicted that the contest may end up being one-sided, explaining that Ryan Garcia's risky approach and defensive mistakes could create perfect opportunities for Shakur Stevenson to control the fight with sharp counterpunching.
Yeah, Shakur, listen, I went down to camp before he fought Teofimo, and I seen his focus and the level of, intense training he was doing. And I said, I don't know it all, but I know Shakur gonna whoop Teofimo's ass. I tweeted that way before the fight, and he went out there and did it. Right. Shakur got a jab. Shakur got head movement. Shakur got defense. Shakur knows range. Shakur have good legs. So I look at that fight like it's not gonna be as a competitive fight like everybody think, because if Ryan get careless, he's gonna get countered on.
The discussion then shifted into a more controversial tone as respected voices began weighing Ryan Garcia's natural athletic explosiveness against questions surrounding his past behavior. They agreed that his lightning-fast speed has the power to flip any fight in an instant, but also raised concerns about whether his previous controversies have cast a shadow over some of his biggest achievements.
Speed is extraordinary. He relies on it a lot, but I mean, that's not a knock. That's just like, if you had it, everybody should rely on that. Man, that
Shakur's
speed
not
is
slow.
nuts. Shakur's a different animal.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of people thought Devin Haney was different, though, right? A lot of people thought Devin Haney was going to give him real problems. When he dropped Devin early with a left hook, everybody was like, oh, this is different. I wish he didn't have a positive drug test in that fight, because that fucking tainted everything.
Yeah, they know each other far too well. I think him and Devin fought each other the most out of all of them. Shakur and Ryan fought as well, which Shakur won all the times that they fought. But I just think, him and Devin, the history of it, Devin came in there overconfident. Ryan, been juiced up, added a little whatever it did. But, you can't take away from him landing the punches that he was landing. You can't take away from the performance that, he was doing. But when you on steroids, that add to.
It definitely adds something.
Henry Garcia confidently laid out a strategy he believes could completely dismantle the undefeated fighter, even predicting a shocking ending that would send shockwaves through boxing. He also referenced past amateur encounters, claiming his son already had a mental advantage because Stevenson supposedly struggled to land a clean shot during their earlier meetings.
The Shakur fight, how does it end in your opinion? Decision, knockout?
We'll hit him with a body shot, he's done.
Why the body
He
shot?
can't take this body shot. We already know.
Really?
Yeah, and he doesn't have a better jab than my son. My son has an awesome jab. We beat him in the amateurs, okay, with the jabs. When Ryan was young, Ryan was only 16 years old. but he qualified 17-18 with Shakur. Shakur was on that level. So if you're within 2 years, they're gonna put you in that category, okay? And I said, Ryan, we didn't know Shakur, they didn't know us. But I said, you know what, Ryan, let's work on that jab. Ryan was throwing that beautiful jab, pop, pop, pop. I said, okay, that's what we're gonna work on. Let's start off there. My God, wait, let me finish. That jab was awesome. Shakur never hit Ryan.
The situation escalated further when Ryan Garcia's father pushed back strongly against ongoing criticism aimed at their boxing background. He passionately defended his family's reputation and emphasized the difficult journey they've taken, stressing that they've been competing with and defeating top-level opponents since their early years in the sport.
Doing this shit since 7 years old, we've been kicking. We've been winning a lot of nationals. Train a guy and try to win one national and see what happens. Try. We won 15. Wow. And my other son won 7, Shakur Garcia. It's hard. You gotta go through the district, you gotta go through the state, you gotta go through the regional, the state, the regional, and then you gotta go through a national. You gotta go through 4 steps. And you're fighting the best of the best. So don't tell me that you know my son and that he's not a good boxer. Oh, it pisses me off.
Lightweight contender Frank Martin added a more grounded perspective to the discussion, warning both fighters about the risks of moving between weight classes. Drawing from his own experience in the ring, he explained that fighting at an unnatural weight can slowly wear a boxer down, draining their energy and performance before they even notice the impact.
I feel like, man, with this, man, fight at the weight you're comfortable at. You know what I'm saying? Like, that weight shit is real. You know, you could be in there and you don't know until you in there. You know, like, that you was drained or whatever, you find out then. You know, if you ain't never experienced it, you'll find out. You know what I'm saying? When you in there, your legs might be tired or whatever, you know, you find out quick. But you gotta, you know, fight at the weight he's comfortable at. You know, that's what
Former champion Raleigh Romero brought a different angle to the conversation by cutting through the hype and focusing on the physical differences between the fighters. He suggested that while Shakur Stevenson is highly skilled and technically sharp, he doesn't possess the same explosive natural attributes that make Ryan Garcia such a dangerous opponent.
No, but Shakur is an incredible boxer. But you're an incredible boxer. You're not a puncher, you know, but you're still an incredible boxer. So not everyone gets to punch hard. Not everyone gets this. Not everyone gets superhuman reflexes. Not everyone's super agile. Not everyone gets like a granite chin. Not, you know, you got to do with what you got.
Gary Russell Jr. broke down the mental side of the matchup, pointing out that Ryan Garcia is unlikely to fear Shakur Stevenson's punching power. He emphasized that Garcia does have the kind of explosive strength to change the fight in an instant. But the real question is whether he can intelligently get inside without getting caught in a counter or walking straight into a set trap.
Ryan has the ability to hurt him. I believe, just like you mentioned with Shakur, Ryan won't respect Shakur's power. And he does have the ability to hurt Shakur. The difference is, I think Shakur...
Can he hit him?
That's going to be the issue. How you attack and when you attack. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the issue. Mm-hmm. Just like with Andy Hiroka, the same way with my younger brother competing against Andy Hiroka. Mm-hmm. It had to be a strategy. Just like Teofimo Lopez. Mm-hmm. He didn't know how to properly close the distance. Yeah. And when he did close the distance, he didn't know what to do once he did close the distance.
I'm here.
You feel me? So that's really the difference.
Russell went further into the tactical side of the matchup, explaining that attacking the body alone won't be enough to break down a top-level defensive fighter. He suggested that it takes a far higher level of precision and execution to truly unlock that kind of defense, while also making it clear he wouldn't reveal the full strategy openly.
I believe the body is important within
every fight. Yeah.
I think what's important is actually the strategy of it, not just saying go to the body.
Right.
You have to really understand the sport to really do this shit.
I think kind of...
I ain't trying to get y'all too much.
Yeah.
It was to be...
Former champion Sean Porter described Shakur Stevenson's defensive awareness in striking terms, suggesting his ring vision is so sharp it almost feels like he can anticipate punches before they arrive. Porter explained that the only realistic way to challenge that level of defense is to break his timing and rhythm, disrupt his focus, and force him into uncomfortable situations where he can't operate at his usual pace.
I get the analogy of like if you play a arcade shooting game, right? And you got the circles that pop up everywhere, and you gotta go like that and hit them all, right? For Shakur, he sees it all before it happens. So he sees it, boom. He sees it, boom. The body's important because now you got his eyes doing this. You got to get this kid doing this with his eyes. As long as he can look at you like this and just find it, that's all day and all night for Shakur.
All you gotta do is break his control.
Yeah, you just gotta break his control. And how do you break his control? To me, controlling the distance.
My little brother for Andy Hiroki.
Yeah.
The discussion then turned to what actually makes Shakur Stevenson so difficult to deal with inside the ring. Gary Russell Jr. suggested that his true strength goes beyond standard boxing technique, pointing instead to his ability to control the mental pace of a fight and dictate where every exchange takes place.
Personally think that Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson need to fight next.
Really?
You got two fighters that just did what they did.
That'd be a good fight. I still slightly, in my opinion, I would still favor Shakur.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel as though he does control the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think his skill is, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think his skill is. Like, his skill isn't like his boxing ability.
Yeah.
His skill is, a lot of times when you watch people fight, you can see that one fighter is in more control of what's going on in that ring.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He maintains a certain level of control with his distance and range. I believe that's what his true skill.
In his final assessment, Gary Russell Jr. highlighted that Ryan Garcia's size and reach advantages could force Shakur Stevenson to take serious risks just to get close enough to land clean punches. He warned that while Stevenson might aim to outclass him technically and chip away at his confidence, even a brief lapse in defense could give Garcia the opening he needs to turn the fight around with his power.
You can break that,
yeah,
then you got something different. I don't know if Ryan will be able to break it,
yeah,
but I think he's tall enough, and he got enough reach, whereas though Shakur is going to have to close the distance to actually hit Ryan. You know what I'm saying? He got to cross that line of fire to hit Ryan versus he just making them come into him and he just pop shot them.
Yeah.
And Ryan got some pop. If Ryan touches his ass, he got the ability to hurt Shakur. I don't think Shakur has the ability to hurt him.
Yeah. Damn.
He can hurt his pride.
Yeah.
But I don't think he can physically hurt.
Rising prospect Colonel Mautin added his perspective to the debate, basing his view on first-hand experience against top-level lightweight competition. He admitted that Ryan Garcia's punching power is always a threat capable of producing an upset, but ultimately backed Shakur Stevenson to control the matchup through higher ring IQ, sharper decision-making, and his elite defensive skills.
And I think I won't say it's too much. Ryan has surprised us before, but I feel like I'll take Shakur in that fight for sure. Shakur got way better at boxing IQ and way too good at defense for the stuff that Ryan would try to pull. I feel like I'll definitely take Shakur in that fight.
And that's the end of today's video. What's your take on all the heated drama and massive money talk happening in boxing right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below.